Saints-Raiders coming up tonight, and they're going to have a tough act to follow considering what we saw over the weekend. We'll go over the 2-0 teams that won't make the playoffs, the 0-2 teams that might make the playoffs. But you were warned. I warned you a couple of weeks ago. With no preseason, we were going to have an onslaught of injuries. I didn't think we would have this many injuries, and these are serious injuries to stars, the kind of players that are central to anything the team plans to do. And it started with the Niners. They lost Nick Bosa. The Giants have lost Saquon Barkley, probably done for the season. Christian McCaffrey got banged up. Devontae Adams of the Packers, the Niners quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, Drew Lock of the Broncos. The list goes on and on and on. And hopefully most of these players will be able to come back soon. The real question is, when will the injuries stop? NFL players are pretty regimented during the year, but the schedule thrown off by the pandemic, the off-season workouts, and no preseason games as well. And add that to the normal brutality of the sport, and it's a recipe for a lot of bad news as the NFL continues during this very difficult season. A lot of surprises yesterday, and I know we always overreact on Monday. Sometimes we underreact to something. Maybe something they're not as good as we thought, or they're a little better than we thought. But you start with the Dallas Cowboys, and the probability of them winning is about as low as you could probably have in the last 30 years in the NFL. And once again, the Atlanta Falcons come on down, because if you go back to the Patriots, the probability of them winning that Super Bowl was probably the lowest it's ever been in the history of the Super Bowl, considering where the Patriots were in that game. And then you have Dallas. Dallas going down 0-2, then going to Seattle next weekend. They could easily be 0-3. Somehow, some way, the Falcons let them back in. Now, I'm going to give Dallas some credit, but most of the blame goes with the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons do a really good job of helping you. It's like they want to, show you to your seat, and then you eat their meal. Like, come on in, and we're going to show you to your table. Hey, wait, you're eating my steak. Yeah, it's good too. Here is Dak Prescott after yesterday's unbelievable finish in Dallas.
Coach McCarthy said at halftime, we need to be here. We need to be right where we are. And he said the final score didn't matter as much as finding out the type of men that we have, the type of fight that we have within this team. But as I said, to show the resiliency, to go out there and continue to fight, continue at it, and just be able to come out with the win, it does so much.
Onside kicks aren't supposed to work anymore because in the new rule change, you can't run up. So all they did, it was like they were watching a top spin. And then I think the Falcons maybe got hypnotized. It was like, woo, woo, woo. And then you could grab it. So the Falcons could have just grabbed it. And then I heard this excuse. Yeah, but that kind of kick, it's really tough to recover. It didn't seem that hard for Dallas to recover. So the Falcons could have just gone up and fallen on it. Have three guys fall on it. But Dallas, they survive. And could have started out 0-2, and they're a 4-point underdog against Seattle. Seattle last night held on for dear life as they beat the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick got a bargain in Cam Newton. Maybe it's too early to say after two games, but what I saw last night, that was a whole lot of fun. And then it came down to that last play with Cam Newton. I think everybody knew who was getting the ball. Here is Cam on being stopped at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was a great play by them. That's a play we had favored in the game plan. We ran it a couple times and figured, this thing we probably went to the well too many times. But at the end of the day, I felt confident about it. We just got to execute. And I could have bounced it, looking at the clip. I just got to be better. Just got to be better here at the end. And, we put ourselves in a position to win. And when you do that, you gotta finish, and we didn't do that today.
Was he having tea? Is that room service there? What the hell was going on there with Cam? That was a lot of fun. And Russell Wilson Jr. III with 5 touchdowns, 6 if you include the pick 6 after it went out of Greg Olson's hands. But that was a lot of fun to watch that, to recap, cap off the night. The Bills are 2-0, Ravens 2-0, Steelers 2-0, Titans, Chiefs, Packers, Bears, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, all 2-0. And you got the Saints coming up tonight at the Raiders. By the way, the Chiefs and the Chargers was a fascinating game because I tuned in like 3 plays in, and I see Justin Herbert, and I go, what happened to Tyrod Taylor? And then I realized Tyrod Taylor had some breathing issues in the preseason, or in pregame. Nobody had the story. And I'm wondering when that information was finally made public, because it was, Justin Herbert, and you're facing the Kansas City Chiefs, and he looked really good. And by the way, for those of you who go, man, he can run, where have you been? Like, did you watch him at Oregon? Did you watch him in the Rose Bowl? He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He's a great athlete. Great athlete. And people are like, oh, okay, didn't know he could run. He's got a great arm, and he's big, and he can run. I was really impressed with what I saw. And Kansas City ended up winning it, and they go to 2-0. Ravens looked okay. They kind of went through the motions there with the Texans. Texans are 0-2, but you feel like, are they still going to win that division? Their defense isn't very good, the Texans. But they've, faced 2 good teams here, Baltimore and Kansas City. But, yeah, it was just kind of fascinating to watch. I felt bad for Saquon Barkley, because here he is just trying to get started here. He doesn't have good offensive line. Nick Bosa's out. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. I don't know. Yeah. Then you start to look at the NFC East. Giants aren't good. Redskins aren't good, or the Washington football team aren't good. Dallas is still my Super Bowl pick, but that's, partly due to that division isn't very good. I figured that they could win their division comfortably. I don't know what you have with Philadelphia, but it's going to be a great ride here, fun ride. And I think the injuries were probably the biggest story that I took out of week 2. Yeah, Paulie.
The Chargers game did drive me crazy because, we root for the story. And when the Chargers had the ball in overtime and they didn't go for it on 4th and 1, we're all yelling at our TV. Seton and I were texting, like, don't give the ball back to Mahomes. I'd rather you miss a 4th and 1 than punt it and give it to Mahomes. Mahomes only needs a field goal. They should have just, when they punted, they should have just gone to black and said that game's over.
Yeah, it's just one of those feelings. It's like when Brady got the ball back against the Falcons, and everybody said the same thing. It's over. It was over. And then that was the feeling is, how is Kansas City going to win this? I can't give the ball back to Pat. If I can run, if I can go for it on 4th and 1, I have to go for it because I don't want to give him the ball back. And Kansas City punted, and Patrick Mahomes got the ball back and made him pay.